evening, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Welcome to the 40th edition of the Post Raw Show. I'm Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
Is it really 40 already?
This is it. This is
wow.
This is our 40th show.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's right, because we talked about the 39th episode and how we weren't sure if we were doing the show today.
That's it.
With Memorial Day. Well, yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm Victoria Tedesco. Happy Memorial Day. I hope everyone had a nice weekend, and thank you to everybody who served. And we honor and commemorate you. That's what this weekend's really about, and what this day is really about. So thank you to everyone. And
yes,
that's, very well.
If you have served in the armed forces, we salute you for sure. I can't say that the show that was put out tonight is WWE saluting anybody, other than just giving everybody, one of these. Hey, fans, read between the lines. You're going to watch anyway, so here's our show that we're putting out.
We'll debate that in a few moments, because I thought about what you said before, and I'm like,
well,
I agree with you, I don't agree with you. I'll tell you why in a moment.
Oh boy, yeah, we'll see, and we're gonna talk about this. All right, so let's say hi to everybody in the chat room before we get kicked off here. We got Nafis Sadat in the room. We got Quentin Walters, as always, in the chat room. Jason F. I'm just scrolling back. Kelowna in the chat room. Randy M. Daniel Shell. God damn it, Daniel. Sweet Louis Veraldi. Another year older, another year better looking, this guy. CJ Bowman in the chat room. I challenge Mike and Victoria not to be angry during the show and to find 10 positive 10 positives. Come on, bro.
I can do it.
You can find 10 positimes?
I can do it. I'll take the challenge.
I'll find 10 positives.
I'll do the challenge.
I just want to know what's in it for me if I can find that. I'm kind of curious.
Now we have to have stipulations here?
If it's a fatal 4-way elimination match and only one person gets eliminated, hell yeah.
Okay, how positive do we have to be though? Like, does it have
just 10 things you like?
Like anything?
I like the 10 commercial breaks. How about that?
That's not a positive.
I really enjoyed those commercial breaks.
My gosh,
they were much needed. They were much needed.
Okay.
Billy Hefner in the chat room. Secret Germs in the chat room. Secret Germs.
I like that, though.
That's an interesting name.
New person.
We got Ashley.
Right? I haven't heard of Secret Germs before.
Randy Turcola in the room. The Big 4-0 Post Raw is officially middle-aged. You know what? I started this. I started tonight's Raw as a 32-year-old, and I think I'm officially 40 as well right now. Grash in the room. All right. Randy. I think I said Randy M already, but we got. We'll see. I think I covered everybody so far. And if I haven't said your name yet, just say hello and we'll get you. And of course, we're joined by our other co-host tonight. Yes, as Quentin Walters said, Baby Tedesco is also co-hosting.
I love how
tonight.
Quentin is always so pro Baby Tedesco.
Yeah,
he just always remembers Baby Tedesco, and it's very well appreciated.
Quentin is great
because Baby Tedesco is very much present right now.
Oh yeah.
Flutters are going.
Oh yeah. The baby's moving now. The baby is definitely moving. We got Will Lewis in the room as well. Zane Tricks, someone pushing 40. Oh yeah, I got nothing this episode, man. Michonne Walls. Excuse me. Welcome to Tedesco's Firefly Funhouse. Daniel, I'm not actually 40. No, please don't age me yet, man. Just the show is 40, not me. I swear. Okay. Well. So we have this episode of Raw to talk about tonight. I guess you can tell that I was not a fan of it, and I will explain why. There were some things I definitely liked on it, and it's not at the levels of Drake Maverick peeing on Bobby Roode's robe, but it's getting there. It's getting there because on that episode, one of the lowest rated episodes that I've ever covered of Raw, 96% thumbs down. They had an open forum with Bayley and Sasha Banks, and they pretty much brought that gimmick back tonight. How awful it was. We'll talk about it. And I also have to share with everybody a story about an injury that I suffered on Thursday that left me with my arm paralyzed and in the emergency room for the entire day. So I have to. So at least you'll catch that story later on. That's a little incentive to stick around here. But it was a really scary situation, and I'm not out of the woods yet. But we'll we'll discuss. I'll fill everybody in as to what's going on. Yeah, everybody's waiting for Angry Mike tonight. I just, you know what?
I don't know if you have it in you to necessarily be angry.
It's Memorial Day. You know, like a lot of people that I talked to online tonight were like, oh, yes, WWE is going to have a reaction to AEW's Double or Nothing event from Saturday. They're going to have a better show tonight. It's going to be a reaction. And I did not think at all that they would have any type of reaction to that, and they really didn't. If anything, their reaction was to just put out a show that had like little thought put into it, horrible booking, and just, hey, look, here's a show. We know you're going to watch it anyway, so happy Memorial Day. It's a Memorial Day show. They're not going to give you their best effort. We know this. We know that when football season happens, you know, they stop putting their best foot forward because, hell, well, you know, it's football's on. Not everybody's watching, but the people that are watching, you're punished. You know, it's like Memorial Day. It's a holiday. People are enjoying barbecues. It was actually a nice day out today. For the people that want to sit at home and watch, you're punished. You should be out having fun. So that's kind of how it felt to me tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I have to agree to disagree in some senses of what you said. I agree with you that, you know, as far as people saying that they're going to have like a retaliation show due to AEW's
zero
show,
chance of that
there was
happening.
not. It was not. Let's put it this way.
But they did mention AEW on the show tonight.
They did, but
horrible.
What I'm saying is though, it's not. This particular show wasn't going to be the reaction show. It's Memorial Day. There was no way were they going to like put any effort in to go above and beyond on a Memorial Day show. And that's what I was saying before when you said to me, you're like, I have a theory. I have a theory that they're like, I'm just going to put out whatever. I don't think necessarily in this case, I don't think they went out of their way to not put out whatever. I think this is just very typical WWE. Honestly, I think it's very typical WWE that in this fashion, you're having a show on a holiday. You're not going to get the greatest show. You're going to get a show. You know what I mean? And that's about what it is. I don't think it was anything to do necessarily even with AEW. I think that's just what they do on holidays. Hello, everybody who's been watching for years. That's just how they work. I mean, I don't really remember any particular holiday show that's been like, whoa, that's been awesome. Like you really
no.
So
not.
I don't necessarily.
That's why I can't get mad about this.
If anything, maybe, and I don't even think you're gonna get that, but I could be wrong. Maybe you might get a retaliation show next week. You might, but you're probably not because that's I agree with you to some extent that WWE just doesn't care to what they're doing. They should keep them on their radar for sure, but I don't necessarily think like they're going to react, like have this huge reaction. But they may like have some form of retaliation, but it wasn't happening tonight. Like if you were expecting it tonight on a holiday show, I don't know.
Their form of retaliation might be just kind of like mentioning AEW in kind of like a condescending manner a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
That's
but
it.
If anything, like I said, if anything, the retaliation show will be next week, not tonight.
I don't think there's going to be a retaliation show at all.
I don't know.
I don't think so. It's I just want to see them just one time, just like act like they have their backs against the wall just a little bit. I'm not saying that they have their backs against the wall at all, so they're not acting that way, but I just want to see them just try to be creative, try to change things up a little bit, because what they're doing is just it. Like I want to go online. I want to come on this show. I really do. I want to come on this show and just say, I love this show. Let's talk about everything that I loved about it. And just have a 45-minute show just talking about this is awesome. This is where this is going. This is what's going on here. I can't even be angry tonight because it's just I don't even there's no point of even complaining tonight because it's just it was a bad show.
Well, I agree.
It's a holiday show.
That's what I'm saying.
But next week's gonna be. I just have a feeling next week's gonna be bad as well. There's no holiday shows, but it's the go home show to Saudi Arabia, and it's. Just,
my main point.
I'm just giving up on thinking that WWE is going to just fire up and be the company that they should be. You know, and they're a great company. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not a great company. They have, you know, they're hitting all the numbers. Their stockholders sort of enjoy them, and you know, Wall Street tolerates them, and they're doing good. And they have a great business model, but creatively, you know, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you have to make your customers happy. And yeah, I get it. The internet is most definitely not the only customer on the planet. But it is possible to rally people together around great things. Every now and then they'll have a great Raw where everybody just universally just says, that was awesome. The last one I remember was the Batista surprise and the Roman Reigns comeback. Everybody loved that show. Now, granted, you can't have Roman Reigns come back from leukemia and Batista debut every week. But you can try to put your best effort in, like book where everything's not reactionary, where it's, oh, we had a bad rating, so let's just create a title. Let's just keep creating titles because people tune in for title matches. So if everything's a title match, people won't have a reason to tune out. You know, let's give everybody a title. Let's do a wild card. Let's do this and that. How about instead of reactionary things, we just start thinking like long-term storylines? How about we change it up where it's not the same tag match every week? That's not, you know, these are little things. I'm not saying that, like, you know, WWE's dying and AEW's taking them over and all this stuff. I'm not like, oh, you're on the enemy's side. You know, no, I just think that if you're going to invest 3 hours of your time, and, you know, I get it. Not everybody watches the show like I do. That's for sure. Nobody's watching the show closely and recapping it and recapping every move and watching every nuance of the show. So I have a little different opinion than everybody else does. I'm sure of it. It's a little more skewed. But there are some people out there like me that watch the show that don't recap, but they love all things WWE, and it probably just drives them crazy thinking, you know, watching what they're doing, because you've seen this company when it fires on all cylinders and operates like it's a professional wrestling company and not just like, well, we put out a show, but we're making a movie. Not like one of those things. That's what I'm looking for. And I have yet to find it on this product. And 89% thumbs down, 138 votes. I put this thing up 20 minutes ago. We already have 138 votes. It's tanking. It's just interest is so low. You know, I've talked to people outside of that no longer watch. I know someone who was a longtime fan, legit, and not like one of those, oh well, I'm canceling my subscription. No, they legitimately canceled their subscription. It's like, I'm just gonna take wrestling out of my life. There's just I don't care about AEW. You know, I only want to watch WWE, and they don't make it worth watching, so I'm just done with wrestling. That's what's going on here. And if you keep whittling away people, driving them away, yeah, there's going to be the ones that will defend every single thing forever with WWE. We've met them, we've seen them, but and those people will stay forever. But you know, there's a lot of people that are that toe the line, that just say, you know what, it's just not even worth it to watch anymore. I'm just not going to tune in ever again. You know, those are the people you want to keep, these people, and they just don't show any signs that they really do.
Okay.
No,
I have no response. You said everything. What do you want me to say? No, really. What do you want me to say?
I know.
You just, you know, talked 5 minutes about what your opinion is and whatever. Like, it is what it is at this point. I think if anybody was really, like, devastatingly upset about this show tonight, I don't know why, though. I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't a good show, but I'm not, like, mad about it. It's a holiday show.
I'm not mad either. I'm not talking about the show anymore. I'm talking about
I know you're talking about WWE in general, but, like, you know, we kind of have to go with the mindset of, like, you know, let's just see what happens. Because if you know, you can talk to death about how, yeah, they're not doing things correctly, and they're not. There's no doubt about it. They're not doing things the right way. But, you know, like, again, I'm going to try as best I can, just like I did with AEW, going in with an open mind. So let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens next week.
I go into every show with an open mind.
I know you do, but
I'm like 10-second Tom. I forget about the abuse I had to go through the week before, and and then only to be disappointed again.
Yeah, I know.
Although I gotta say, I loved how the show opened up with Beatbox Brock coming out, with the Brock Party shirt and dancing around, and that was hilarious. And I was like, oh, well, maybe we're in for a good night tonight. And well, it was an hour before we got our first match.
Right. I mean, what does there say about that? That's so typical of them. Even if they're like best of their best, or even in their most like creative points, it's a holiday show. So even if you're getting your best of your best WWE in the time span, tonight was just not a good show. And like what's making it worse for people, particularly with the show tonight, is because everybody's just had this negative mindset around WWE. So you just think like you're just getting this negative perception no matter what. So sorry, you were getting a crappy show tonight. Hate to break it to you, but like because of everything else going on. But how is it fair? It's not. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that this is what it is right now. So we have to go in the mindset, like I said, let's see if it wasn't happening tonight. Let's see if there is a reaction next week. Let's just say, let's see if they do really not care. They know they have a built-in fan base and they're not going to change anything.
Yep.
Or are they going to actually change stuff?
Yeah.
We don't know. Tonight wasn't the night to prove it, though. Tonight wasn't the night
I'm not saying it was.
I'm not saying to you. I'm saying to people who thought that maybe tonight was the night that they were going to have a reaction to AEW. Wasn't going to be tonight, no matter how you look at it. And they may never react. More likely of what's going to happen. And it's not
business
fair.
Business as usual.
It's not right. It's not fair. It's totally not fair.
It's just going to stay business as usual forever.
But that's why, we kind of do have to appreciate another alternative form of wrestling. If they are successful, great. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just talk about this show. Let's get into it. And I one of the 10 things that CJ wants me to find that I truly enjoyed tonight was Beatbox Brock coming out. They had Brock Lesnar come out to his theme song, and he turned the Money in the Bank briefcase into, yeah, you can see it right there, into put boombox decals on it, and then they changed his music to some kind of like hip hop theme, and then he gets in the ring and just starts doing the Running Man, and it was just, it was a sight to behold. He's not an awful dancer. I mean Victoria was, or should have been, dance captain. As a dancer, what did you think of Lesnar's dance moves?
Not bad. I mean, not bad. He had a pretty good rhythm for, like, did not expect that out of him. And that's my positive thing, too. I like this, like, kind of like goofy, not goofy. It wasn't goofy. That's actually the wrong word. More playful, like, teasing side of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Not just coming out as, like, this bulldog intimidator, but more like taunting.
It was,
I like that.
It was good. It was a lot of fun, and I liked. He gets in the ring because he's supposed to be making his Money in the Bank decision here. He looks at Kofi, and then the New Day's theme song starts playing, and he starts kind of doing the dance. Mm-hmm. And then he looks at Rollins, and Rollins' music starts playing, and Heyman starts headbanging. That was hilarious. I'm up to 3 things now that I loved, and then. And then what happens? Rollins just walks off, so Heyman says, well, Rollins ruined the Brock party, which I couldn't tell. I really couldn't tell if the fans were booing Rollins or if they were booing Lesnar, but I'm pretty sure they were booing Rollins because they started booing as soon as he walked off. And then Heyman said that, then he says, don't boo us, boo Seth Rollins, and they're booing, so then they just leave the ring. So no Money in the Bank decision yet. And as they leave the ring, Kofi's on the apron, and he's attacked by Dolph Ziggler, who knocks him off the apron, and then we go to commercial. Okay.
What's Dolph Ziggler again?
I know. I've never
we say
figured it out.
What's Dolph Ziggler?
I've never figured out what Dolph Ziggler's character is. I have no clue.
Up until the point where Dolph came in and attacked. And I'm actually not going to say that I didn't like Dolph Ziggler attacking Kofi necessarily, but this was a fun little thing to kind of open up the show. I think, with like people having block parties today, and it's like this Brock party. Definitely was not expecting that for sure. I definitely thought. I mean, I know they told us that Brock Lesnar was going to be on the show tonight and making his decision, but I did not think it was going to happen in this fashion. And I think what was nice about this, my second positive thing was Seth Rollins' role in actually walking off and be like, if you're not going to take this seriously, I'm just walking away from you. That's kind of indicative to his character, like wanting to, because he constantly keeps talking about like, I'm trying to bring legitimacy to the title again and like have this seriousness to it. So that was cool. And Kofi's kind of reaction, like, "Oh yeah, you want to do this? Let's go. Let's do this. Let's fight."
Kofi looked very good as a serious champion. He came out throwing pancakes, but when it gets down to it, the guy can actually cut a promo where with some real venom and some fire. So make that 5 things.
That's my third thing that I thought was positive too, because I really like the fact that he didn't look out of place. Like he didn't look at a place in this.
Yeah, there really hasn't been one moment in his title reign where I'm like, he doesn't belong in the main event picture.
Like, yeah, he's got like goofy tendencies, but it's still like I think we kind of equate goofy with fun sometimes. This is fun, and like that's why I really kind of liked Brock Lesnar in this setting too. Because and what's interesting about that is, and I may be reading too much into it, it's like Brock's also kind of playing into like who Kofi is as a person. Mm-hmm. So, I can be fun too. You want a fun champ? I can give you a fun champ and like, whatever. But yeah, really, really good stuff.
Yeah, so that was a good first segment. Ziggler comes from behind and attacks Kingston, and then Xavier Woods chases him off. Okay, not bad. I liked all of it. Then we come back from break, and they're helping Kingston up the ramp, and then Dolph Ziggler returns to attack Xavier Woods. They go to ringside, and they had a lifeless brawl. And, there's no other way to put it. It was just no one really seemed interested in it. They fought through the crowd, and no one was like losing their minds. Ziggler got opened up. He got his eyebrow busted, which added to it. So make that 6 things that I like. That added to it for me. From his busted open eyebrow, and then Kofi Kingston ran down with a chair to scare Ziggler away. Commercial break number 2. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So that's done. All right. So we had one segment of talking, one segment of kind of brawling, and now we're gonna finally just get the show rolling here. Mm-hmm. Well, no. Kingston is helping Xavier Woods to his feet, or as Xavier Woods, and then Dolph Ziggler comes out to the stage now to cut a promo. Because they have to hype their Super Showdown match. So Ziggler cuts this promo, and it just sounded like every I'm bad guy, here's my bad guy voice promo I've ever heard. I know some people liked it. I can't say I was one. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't knock my socks off. It didn't get me amped up to see this match. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It didn't get me like, oh my God, I have to see Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston at Super Showdown. It was like, it sounded like he was like the reincarnation of Triple H in 2000. I'm the game, and I'm gonna beat The Rock. And it was a lot of like that. I was like gravelly voice. I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
It just felt like It felt like Dolph Ziggler was cosplaying as a heel wrestler. Yeah. It didn't feel like. It didn't. I just didn't believe it. Yeah, I didn't believe it.
No, I hear you. I didn't mind. My 4th thing is I actually didn't mind. Like I said, Dolph Ziggler attacking Kofi Kingston. I thought that was fine, and I know you didn't really like the brawl. I enjoyed it. I liked Xavier Woods coming in and adding that piece to it, which was great. So that's my 5th thing.
Okay.
But I agree with you on the promo 100% from Dolph Ziggler. I didn't like that raspy tone because we've seen it from Dolph Ziggler before. We've seen this. Yeah. I don't have opportunities. It should be me.
Right.
And that's where.
Right. It just feels like a rehash.
Exactly. It's always, this is every time that he goes away for a little bit, either whether he's injured, he just takes time off or wherever. Every time he comes back, it's always the same thing over and over again. It should have been me. It should have been my opportunity. Right. Well, it should end. I'm not like, it's like no longer am I necessarily rooting for you. I like Dolph Ziggler, and I'm not saying that. I think he really is great in the ring, and I actually do enjoy him as a performer. But it's like, why you? Again, why you? Like, why should I be interested in you? Because you're good in the ring? Well, there's a ton of people who are really good in the ring. Like, why you over anybody else should be. On the same token, though, the sixth thing that I actually did like, the one thing from his promo that I did enjoy, but also the kind of thing I also hated too, so I don't know if I can really count as my sixth positive thing.
All right.
Is that he mentioned that that Kofi is a worthy opponent. He has worked hard, recognizing all of his accomplishments. But then he's just kind of saying but then he never really kind of said well, I can do it better than you. It was a weird sense of what everything else. It was contradictory to what he was saying, how he deserves an opportunity. I deserve it, but you're really good. You're really accomplished.
Yeah. Well, the deal with Ziggler is he only came back on SmackDown this past Tuesday.
Right. No, I know.
And he was pulled off of his comedy tour, and he was going to be doing some Comic-Con in Australia. The whole backstory behind it, and Randy actually already said it in the chat room, is that Kevin Owens, he said from what he says, his family asked him not to go to Saudi Arabia, so he's not going to Saudi Arabia. He's the title contender right now, so. They dusted Dolph Ziggler off the shelf and brought him back because Ziggler initially wasn't supposed to go on this trip.
No, I know.
Yeah. So it's a lot of hot shotting, but you know what? I didn't need 3 segments of it, okay? It was... I looked... And then they had Shane McMahon come out with Drew McIntyre. Shane's going to have his first match on Raw and who knows how long. It was 8:47... And they still hadn't done a match yet. I remember the time clearly. 8:47. I was like, still nothing? We're still just doing these.
Yeah, I remember thinking to myself too. I'm like, oh, wait, there's actually hasn't been any wrestling yet at all. So
it's like
brawl, but no wrestling.
Yeah, like an uninspired brawl trying to just hype up this feud, but it and the promo just didn't do it for me. It really didn't.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, exactly. And they also showed the memorial party, a big memorial. I forgot to put Memorial Day party with a bunch of superstars. It's the Usos block party. So they're hosting a block party, and the Revival wasn't invited. So we're going to see that intermittently throughout. And just to cap it off, Shane and Drew McIntyre are now in the ring when we come back from our third commercial break. Wait, was that 1, 2, 3? Yes, this is our third commercial break now. They first hit us with a 5-minute package hyping up Triple H versus Randy Orton at Super Showdown. So that's fine. Whatever. And then Shane and Drew are in the ring, and Shane is talking about the Samoan dynasty, which has gone on for years, and how he knows, how it's gone from High Chief Peter Maivia and on down, and the Wild Samoans. Sika is Roman Reigns' father. He knows Sika better than Reigns does, but he won't disparage the Wild Samoans. But his father, the one that Roman Reigns knocked out, Reigns did disparage Vince McMahon. His father was always there to clean up the Wild Samoans' mistakes. And at this point, the crowd is chanting, "This is boring," and it's just falling off the tracks very quickly. So who from the Samoan dynasty will take on Shane McMahon? Commercial break number 4. Still nothing. No matches, nothing.
Nope.
We come back from the ring. There's a guy in the ring named Lance Anoa'i, who is legitimately Roman Reigns' cousin. Allegedly, according to Wikipedia, he's a cousin of Shane.
Of
Roman. And right away, before the match begins, Drew McIntyre pulls Anoa'i out of the ring, slams him back and forth in the barricade ring apron, ring post, overhead belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. And Shane is in the ring. Oh, no, Drew, don't do that. Then he gets him in the ring. At this point, an AEW chant is picking up in the arena. This is awful. I don't know why. He comes back with a drop kick, but Shane quickly blocks a kick. Back elbow, which I thought was, did he just do the Judas effect from the Jericho move? I was like, is that a reaction? But I was like, no, maybe not. Just try to ignore it. And then he punches away at him before applying the worst looking triangle choke for the submission on Lance Anoa'i. Then they continue to attack Anoa'i after the match, and Roman Reigns, just to prove that he's the worst cousin on earth, doesn't make the save until Anoa'i is completely dead. They do that all the time. It's like the heels. The heels are always like the cool guys.
Immediately there, too.
Right. Not only are they immediately there, they're like double teaming. They're doing all this stuff. And it's like the freaking faces don't have any friends ever. Even if you're family, you don't have a friend. You don't have someone watching over your back. Roman just comes out and hits a Superman punch and McIntyre pulls Shane out of the ring before he gets speared. I was like, are you serious? Like, he couldn't have been out there at any point before that? You made, like, it just makes him look bad to me. It really does. There's no thought at all put into that. And they do that constantly, and then they wonder why nobody's getting over.
I can't even, like, argue with you in that at all. Everything that you said.
If I saw my cousin getting his head kicked in, I'd want to run out there and, like, at least try to help.
No, I know. I agree with you 100%. There's not even anything I could say to kind of rephrase or reword. Right. Honestly, it all makes sense to me. Yeah. What you're saying.
And for those that are going to like to say, well, it's wrestling, Mike. Well, we're in the reality era now of wrestling. This is WWE's reality era. It's not realistic for a family member to sit in the back and watch their cousin just get kicked in the face and choked out twice.
Right, and it's not even just wrestling at this point. It's the entertainment value. Yeah. When you see something happening to a family member in a typical show, guess what? The person's not just sitting there like,
well, hell, you could like, and Quentin Walters just brought up a great point here. Where's the Usos? Like they're also this guy's cousins.
Yo no sé. I don't know.
Yeah. James Lecarenza. Yeah. Mike would probably crap his drawers if his cousin was getting pummeled. I have some. What? I have some cousins I would probably laugh at if that was happening. But believe me, my friend, I have gotten my hands dirty quite a few times in my life.
Oh my God!
Quite a few times.
James, I'm surprised.
Believe me, I've gotten my hands dirty.
That's so funny.
So it just I was like, God, they just always just make them look stupid. So that was our first match of the night. 9:00 hour now. Brock Lesnar comes out again. It's the first hour part 2 now. And he's not dancing anymore. So now it's not interesting. But Heyman says that they're out there to inform the one champion who will be having the Money in the Bank contract cashed in on. So Rollins comes out to the ring. Rollins says this title is his life, and he points at, Lesnar points at his briefcase, and Rollins says, I see it, and he tells him to shut his mouth. You're making a mockery of the champion out of the championship because you're a joke. And Lesnar, seventh thing I loved, 7, here we go. Lesnar just goes, beatbox, bitch! And I was like, that was great. That'll absolutely be edited off of the Hulu replay. I'm sure of it. But that and then actually, here comes number 8.
Okay.
I didn't like it, but now I've reconsidered. I kind of like this.
Okay.
Heyman pulls out the contract and starts to read it because Rollins basically dared Lesnar to cash in right now, and Lesnar's thinking about it. Heyman pulls out the contract, starts reading it that Lesnar has a year to cash in, so, before Money in the Bank 2020, he has to cash in this thing, and then Lesnar looks at him, grabs the contract, and then he slaps Heyman with it, which was hilarious. He was, Brock Lesnar, his character is that he doesn't care about WWE so much that he doesn't understand the concept of the Money in the Bank briefcase, despite having lost a championship to the Money in the Bank briefcase being cashed in on him. Championship. He had no idea. So he takes the microphone. He goes, I've got a year to cash this in. Seth Rollins, Screw you. So that what am I at? Was I at 8?
Yeah, so
nine.
9.
9. Brock Lesnar talking and saying "screw you." It was great. So now we're gonna have Lesnar lurking in the background for the foreseeable future with the Money in the Bank briefcase. If I had to guess, if I were to choose a time when Lesnar would cash in, am I up to 9? By the way, I'm up to 9.
I think you just said 9. I thought.
I'm up to 9. If I had to pick a moment when he would cash in, it would probably be on the first SmackDown on Fox or right before it. I have a sneaking suspicion it'll be a Saudi Arabia thing, but maybe Lesnar will win the 50-man battle royal at the Saudi show. So who knows? But I would like to. I would think that a SmackDown on Fox cash in is just what the doctor ordered. So. What do you think about this? What do you think about the segment?
No, I'm just laughing.
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to be positive.
I think 7. I said the beatbox bitch was my favorite. Yeah, the I agreed with you too, but then I reconsidered myself. I was like, oh no, it doesn't make sense that he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
That you have a year. You don't have to cash it in anytime soon if you don't want to. But the way he played it off is the reason why it's my number 8, because it's like the fact that he was just like, oh, screw you. Yeah. Like, I have a year.
Yeah. It was
like it was just,
like he just came to this revelation.
He had this epiphany, but I think like necessarily he was just kind of like, I think you knew he was toying with the both of them, that he just wanted to like play into it. And I don't think it was necessarily like this epiphany that like he actually thought, whatever. I think it was just one of those things like,
like,
I have a,
Yeah. And I really wanted to, I wanted to like this, and when I saw it initially, I was like, this is like so stupid. It's actually kind of funny. But, and I swear to God, if it came after just like a regular first hour where it wasn't literally, and you can't even count the Shane match as an actual match, even though the bell did ring.
Yeah, it was kind of like,
an hour of non-wrestling. I probably would have loved this. If they just had a regular first hour, I probably would have said that's absolutely hilarious, and what a great idea, and what a great way to kind of play into the fact that Lesnar hates WWE.
Right.
But after an hour of nothing for that, God, it was I didn't like it, but now I can say that was my 9th thing. So I'm up to 9. I'm almost at 10. So
my 9th is coming up.
I'm just impressed. Well. My AJ Styles was supposed to be in a fatal 4-way elimination match. Okay, we'll get to it. Don't worry. But he was replaced by Baron Corbin because he's injured, and Corbin attacked him from behind in the trainer's room. I don't know if the Styles injury is legit. I know that Styles has had was injured at WrestleMania. I don't know, and it was a back injury. I don't know if it completely healed, but apparently he says he heard it at Money in the Bank. So, but at least they seem to have positioned Corbin as his return opponent. So we'll see. Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics. Nope. That's not going to be that's not going to be number 10. I will tell you that right now. Becky
Moving
Lynch.
on.
We were talking about this last night, were we not? With at the Memorial Day party we were at with our brother-in-law. If my brother-in-law, her brother, we can't both have a brother. Well, I guess we can.
We know we could.
I guess we could. Yeah.
But it's my brother.
Yeah, no, it's her brother. Becky Lynch is like the only person that she really has to go against is Charlotte Flair. I enjoy Lacey Evans' character, but once that bell rings, Lacey Evans stunk in the ring. She was terrible. She was the Money in the Bank match was bad. And if that's it, if they're just going to have Lynch go out there and face freaking Lacey Evans forever and then just have a return match against Charlotte Flair, she's gonna go ice cold.
Yeah.
And if she if the Iconics, who yes, they're a great annoying heel promo and they are very funny on the microphone. But once that bell rings, they are embarrassing at their best in the ring. She's going to go ice cold so fast, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And it feels like that all the time. It just does. Like, you know, the crowd's
right
up,
now she's chill.
The crowd's up for her entrance, but by the end of it, they don't really care.
Yeah, right now she's chill, and we talked about this a lot last night. The main issue right now is there's literally nobody else to face her. And you went off such a high of having Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. And even that wound up being, you know, not the greatest match at WrestleMania, obviously for many reasons. But you can't go from this, like, you know, Charlotte Flair, who's just incredible, and Ronda Rousey, who just brings heat,
right,
to having somebody like Lacey Evans. And I'm not saying I don't like Lacey Evans. I mean, I'm still, like, on her, I'm, like, with her character, but, like, I like her as a character. I like what it could potentially be. But the thing that I just like, there's literally nobody. And we've exhausted this issue many, many times. But right now it's in full force of there's nobody who's worthy. And people can argue Asuka, but what has Asuka been doing? I mean, think about it. Her whole, like, everyone was so excited for her. And she's a good in-ring performer too. But but right now what's going on is these people who are really good, their character's off. And the people who have really good character, their in-ring is off. So, like Naomi, I adore her. I really, truly, when they say she's the most athletic, she's truly athletic. She's incredible. But right now her character is just in this, like, you can only say, like, this spunky, fun, like, you know, whatever. Like, I want, like, that when she played heel for a little bit, like, when she was, like, fierce and sassy and coming in full force, she needs a character reboot. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I love her. I really, really do love her. Like, if I ever got to meet her, I would probably be like, oh, yay, like Naomi. But, like, you know?
What?
No, because I really do like her. I just love her.
Oh,
but,
God.
you know? But it's like... I
have to find an autograph signing somewhere. And record that and put it on YouTube.
Oh, yay! But it's there's nobody right now. Like, yes, I think of Naomi as a comparable opponent. Like, yes, in the ring, but it's like, where is her character right now? You know? And I think, and she's feeling it too, because she's expressed it many times, how she just feels like she always wants to try to reinvent herself and what she can do and what she's good at. I think, but that's where the oh my God, I was almost gonna say divas. That's where the women's division is right now. It's like there's nobody right now that I feel like is just worthy of an opponent. But I want to say something real quick before we continue.
Oh yes, please.
Lacey Evans, thank you for your service.
Yes,
because I did not know that she was in the military, and I was like,
she
impressed
is,
by that.
She is a veteran. Yes.
So
yes,
thank you.
So yes, very
happy Memorial Day to you, Lacey Evans.
Right, exactly. Yeah, actually, it looks like we've gotten some people talking in the chat room about this too, about how Lacey has been booked terribly, but she's good. You know, before she came to the main roster,
she is well. Yeah.
The problem with the main roster is that, you know, number one, they don't really consider NXT all that much, and number two, there's more time to fill up on the main roster. And, you know, if you're going to have a 4 or 5 hour pay-per-view every month, you have to have matches that go long, and some people aren't designed to have matches that go long. That's why, like, at Money in the Bank, I thought it was really smart to have Roman Reigns versus Elias be a 9-second match.
Yeah.
Who would really want to watch Elias in a long match with Roman Reigns?
I don't know. I agree with you.
They did it on SmackDown. It was like, yeah, that's why they didn't do this match. Oh, boy. You know, and then you also have Bayley, like, well, now it's just going to get into a thing, like, do we really need 2 women's championships? Because you have Bayley on SmackDown, and who's going to be her opponent? Charlotte Flair forever? You know?
She can't carry everyone.
Asuka's involved in a pointless tag team. How about, you know, like, speaking of the Iconics, how about those tag team titles that everybody wanted for the women? Equality. Well, now they're equally ignored, just like the men's tag team titles are.
Yeah, agreed. And
Why are Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins still the champions? By the way, they haven't done a single thing. Since
I said that on the AEW podcast, and I've been saying that for weeks. I'm like, where is their purpose?
I never when they came out at WrestleMania and won the match, I was like, what? Number one, when did this get established? And I'm pretty sure I've watched all the shows, and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins were never established as number one contenders. And all of a sudden, they have a match at WrestleMania, or even though it's a kickoff show for the titles, and they win, and it's like supposed to be like this big thing. They had Kurt Hawkins lose for 2 years straight. Like it just didn't even feel like it could climax because no one was even excited about it. Just bizarre.
It beats me. I really don't know.
Just bizarre.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, this match with Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics was just a whole lot of suck and not what I was looking for. Now, here's my number 10. And probably 11 and 12, 13, 14, and 15 with everything that Ricochet did in this match with Ricochet and Cesaro. Ricochet is just so awesome. I don't know what his character is. Oh, that's another thing. I'm sorry. I have to stop because Graham Costigan Cripps here just came up with a great point. And I mentioned this last night too. Where the hell are the Viking Raiders? What, like,
wait, is that their name?
Or the War Machine no, they were the War Machine. Then they were the Viking Experience. Now they're the War Raiders. They were War. Yeah. So they're the Viking Raiders now. I don't know what the hell they are anymore.
Oh wait, and their finish is the Viking Experience.
Correct.
Got it. Right.
Yes.
Now it's coming back to me. Okay.
Why are they on the show killing people? They could have easily put in a Viking Raiders squash match in that first hour, and I would have been I probably would have turned my entire outlook on the show around. But damn, yeah, like where the hell are they?
They're gonna be on Doug's milk carton.
Yeah, they are. I think it's been. I think it's been 3 weeks.
They're going to continue on Doug's milk carton. That's going to be just where they stay for now.
I think it's been 3 weeks. All right, now on to Ricochet. I don't know what Ricochet's character is. I don't know what Cesaro's character is. I know that Ricochet likes to do a lot of flips, but damn, he's freaking impressive.
And they put on a good match.
They actually had a really good match, and I'm not going to say it's like great or like not, like kill, but like the finish was like, I've never seen anything like that before. It's pretty damn cool. I don't know what Ricochet's character is. I don't know what the plan is. I would absolutely, since Rey Mysterio is relinquishing the United States Championship next week on Raw, I would love to see Cesaro, Ricochet, and Samoa Joe in a triple threat match to determine who the champion will be.
That'd be a great match.
Because that would be friggin' awesome.
That would be a great match.
I think Ricochet is a great player, and the offense that he pulls out is just, it's next level.
Oh yeah, that was very unique finish at the end.
Oh my god!
And the overall match itself, I loved it. I thought it was great, and I thought this is a simple thing that they should be doing right now is just having two performers put on a good match to entertain the crowd. And that's like a simple formula to good, having a good product. Just getting two guys in the ring who have a very different style, but they work well in the ring together and they have great chemistry. Yeah. So
it was 9:30 before like this match happened, but like it really was great. It really, really was. And it was a real nice breath of fresh air on this show because this show was dragging something fierce. Here's the finish right here. Does a handstand from the floor to the apron onto his shoulders, sits up on him, turns around, does a Hurricane Rana with a cradle. Wow. Super awesome. What a finish. What a finish. I could watch that over and over again. And the precision, Cesaro he is like so underrated on the roster for years. We've known this, he's a great base for these high flyers. He can go with them, like that's a great asset to have.
Very, like I said, but just now before, like they just have very different styles, but they work so well together because they complement each other, Yeah.
This was just, it was phenomenal. It really, really was. Okay, so I guess I moved up from great to phenomenal. So yeah, so that's my 10th thing on the show that I truly enjoyed.
Mine's coming up.
Is it?
Yes.
Was it the Miz's promo?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, because of the baby, okay? And the fact that he said, he's like, I just found out I'm having another baby girl, so that was my 9th thing, and my 10th thing is Braun Strowman congratulating him on their baby, having a baby girl. Go pregnancy.
Oh my God.
Okay?
Oh
Come on, give the pregnant lady a break here. All right?
Yeah, okay, fine.
You have to give it to me.
I'll give that
and
to you.
I love The Miz. So the fact that they're having a girl and they had their gender reveal this weekend. They had a huge confetti and balloons. It was great. Look on Instagram, on Monroe's Instagram, on Maurice's Instagram, and Miz's Instagram. So it was a fabulous gender reveal. Very excited for the both of them. And give it to the pregnant lady for being excited about pregnancy. Okay? Thank you.
Welcome to my life. This is yes. That yeah, okay. I have to say though, and this will be my 16th thing that I really enjoyed.
I stop at 10.
See,
okay?
I'm changing the rules. I'm just gonna start just adding numbers. It's gonna become like the list of Jericho.
I don't know.
I've never heard a promo before a match where two guys are gonna go and fight each other, where the one congratulated the other on the revealing gender of their kid. It was like, I've never heard that.
Pregnant people rule, okay?
See, like there are things I haven't seen before, and I enjoy that. So that's.
And that is why Miz cannot be a heel right now. He's got too many good things happening to him.
Yeah. Well, after that, this completely fell off the tracks. We have a fatal 4-way elimination match: Braun Strowman versus The Miz versus Baron Corbin versus Bobby Lashley. And the entire time they're talking, it makes sense to team up and, to eliminate somebody from this match because, it's a fatal 4-way elimination. So you can team up and eliminate and then just get it down to 2 people. The commentators were putting over and over and over that this elimination match, elimination match. And only for us to go through, 2 commercial breaks on this thing. And then Baron Corbin pins The Miz for the first elimination. But that's it. Baron Corbin wins the match because Lashley and Strowman fought to the back. Even though Braun Strowman was down at ringside for half this match, and I guess by that theory should have been counted out, they fought to the back. So after that, it's, oh my God, no. So all those matches that we've seen where somebody gets injured and brought to the back, and then they come out and make the triumphant return, hobbling out, doesn't mean anything. That person should have been eliminated because they went to the back. This was my question was, and I get it, they change the rules all the time. But my question is, you could have just promoted it as a regular fatal 4-way match. Like, what, they've done that many times where it's just one pinfall and that's it. Why did they announce it as an elimination match?
Maybe they forgot.
No, they didn't, because they spent half the match telling the commentators to hype up that it's an elimination match, only for there to be one elimination, like it's a regular fatal 4-way.
No, what I'm saying is I don't think the commentators forgot.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like when friggin' Raw was supposed to sweep SmackDown at Survivor Series, except on the pre-show that SmackDown won, and Corey kept bringing that up.
So I think what happened here was
the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing.
Yeah, we're gonna promote like this elimination fatal 4-way, and then they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, oops!" Like it was actually only supposed to be regular fatal 4-way.
Right. What the hell was that? But they didn't even have the referee counting, nothing. Everybody just looks bad. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing anymore. This was just awful. It was awful, and the match was boring. At best, even if it was a regular fatal 4-way, this was boring as hell.
Boring Baron at your service.
Yep. And Baron Corbin, who has heat. Yes, he has heat.
I don't care about heat. I really don't care. He's not doing anything to wow me, so I could not care less about his heat.
Like there's a difference between like heat and like the go away heat, and he has the go away heat. Like really, like that is a thing. Where people instead of just wanting to stay tuned to see this guy get beat up, and every now and then he does something entertaining to keep you interested. He doesn't. You know, yeah, everybody talks about his cutoff spots. I don't see the cutoff spots.
He's annoying. He's the annoying heat. He's the person that, like, this is the individual
and
who
sure,
Vince McMahon is like, haha, I'm going to throw in your face because I know you can't stand him.
Right.
That's the kind of heat he has.
Right.
But nobody wants that type of heat.
Right. Right. Like, I'm sure Baron Corbin, like, the actual person's a fine guy, and I
don't think he is.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he works hard and all that stuff, but it's just the character is just, you know, like they don't really exactly book him to, like, you know, I get it. They book him like a freaking, you know, regular heel, but it's like, man, it's like, it just doesn't make me want to just keep watching. Like, you know, it's like I want to have a reason to watch.
Can I have a confession?
But man, this Fatal 4-Way sucked, and just the changing the rules, the elimination thing, and it's not an elimination anymore. It just looked so dumb. What's your confession?
My confession is that if Miz weren't in this match, I definitely would have been like,
click. So you like the match just because the Miz was in it?
I didn't like the match. I'm just
very discerning.
I didn't like the match. I didn't say that. I'm just saying I would have clicked if Miz wasn't in the match. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
I didn't say I liked the match. Let's get that straight. This
was just a whole lot of suck and just made them look like they don't know what the hell they're doing at all. So this automatically should kill triple threat matches, you know, where it's no DQ. Like how this is also no like what the hell? Horrible. Just absolutely horrible. Or maybe they could have incorporated DQs and then just had Strowman and Lashley hit each other with weapons and they could have just gotten DQ. Like, there was no explanation.
Does there need to be?
Yes.
Well, of course there does, but does WWE need one? In their minds? No.
No, because
this is a Memorial Day.
No.
Yes.
We're letting them off the hook. No.
I'm not letting them off the hook.
You are letting them off the hook.
I'm not letting off the hook.
You are.
I am just letting you know they don't care about continuity.
Oh, I've known that. We know, and that doesn't matter if it's Memorial Day or Victoria Day, which was last week, or just a random show in February. There's no continuity whatsoever, even from segment to segment, commercial break to commercial break, within the same match. There's no continuity anymore. That's next level crap. Next level. All right. Here's my 17th thing that I don't
know why you're still listing them. I capped off at 10. Seriously.
Here's what should be number 10 for you then.
I already did. Wait, no, I did 9 and 10 already.
You did. I know. The Firefly Funhouse segment.
Yes, no, I did enjoy this.
Was insanely good. Insanely good.
It was. It was really, really good.
Whew. Man. First you have Bray Wyatt coming up with the paper plate with the or as he calls him, the Fiend, drawn on it.
Yes.
And he's making these faces. It's a creepy ass promo. It really, really is.
But it was so good.
He talks about the Fiend and how the Fiend is here to protect everybody, and you know, sometimes he finds it hard to find his confidence and be brave, especially when he's alone. But when he puts that mask on, he can be anything he wants to be. And he maniacally smiles. Then Abby the Witch is there. And Abby says, you know, you just don't want people to know what kind of sicko you are. And Abby asks if he's a doc. You know, he goes, I'm not a sicko. And she goes, what are you, a doctor now? So he puts on a doctor and he goes, the diagnosis is in. Abby the Witch is a bully. And Abby just says, I'm just tired. I'm tired of being in limbo. So it's like kind of like insinuating that the spirit of Abigail is in this puppet and wants to be released. And it was like just creepy as hell. And he goes, did you say limbo? And then you have these two kids who look miserable and soulless holding up a limbo stick. And then he crab walks under the freaking limbo stick. And he just goes, you know, I'll always light the way as long as you let me in. And it was super freaking creepy.
I love this.
This was awesome.
I love this for many reasons. It was like he was like maybe 5 minutes of this segment, but it just had like so much storytelling in it. And another reason why I like it is because he still has like, even though he's this different character and now he has this whole Fiend element, there's still like elements of Bray Wyatt that did work, that like that creepy side, like, you know, with him walking backwards on his hands and everything, with doing that creepy crawl, like that I really enjoyed.
That
so
was awesome.
It's like, yeah, I still have glimpses of that, like, of that man who I was, and I'm really trying not to like, but now, you know, so that's why it was just really, really cool. And
You know what was cool too? I forgot that he does the crab walk because I haven't seen him
Yeah,
in so long.
yeah.
So I was like when they pulled the limbo stick, I was like, oh, he's gonna do limbo because he's Mr. Rogers and this and that.
No,
but he did the crab walk. I was like, I forgot all about the crab walk, and that was awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I liked it.
Oh, did you have anything else to say? I feel like I cut you
No.
off.
No.
Oh.
That's why I enjoyed it. It was because they brought that element of the crab walk in with him walking backwards, and it's like he's still underneath like this sadistic, like,
I know.
I know.
I it's like I'm definitely a little, worried about how they're going to handle the character when he comes on to the show. I enjoy this Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse thing so much that I'm almost kind of terrified that they're just going to botch it completely.
No, I know. It's like you just want to hone this and appreciate these moments right now.
Yeah.
With these promos and these segments where it's just like.
Well,
yes.
This segment next after this is probably a contender for the worst Raw segment of the year. The electric chair with special guest Sami Zayn, which brought me back to the open forums with Sasha Banks and Bayley, where they're going around and they're asking fans, to ask questions. And it was horrible. Sami Zayn sitting in an actual electric chair. They didn't hook him up, but it's an electric chair. Charlie Caruso's with a fan. He asks when Zayn's retiring, and he asks if the guy's parents are related. Then this kid asks if he misses the ginger snaps from Mixed Match Challenge. And it's like, who watched Mixed Match Challenge #1 and like who remembers that segment at all? This
was just so bad on so many levels.
This was horrible. And then they go to another guy. He goes, "How's it feel to be destroyed by Braun Strowman?" And so he threatens violence against the guy. Then another one asks why he hasn't won the Universal title. He goes, "You could have asked me anything. You could have asked me about AEW." And it didn't, and because the show was so bad, the crowd didn't even react to that, and that made me cringe so much. Like we talked about it on Saturday on Wrestleview Live, with mentioning AEW. AEW making the shots at WWE and how we hated it. We just didn't like it. It makes them look Bush League. But it also makes WWE look like they're shook.
It goes both ways. Exactly.
There's no upside for either company to mention each other.
No, there's
no upside. It's
agreed.
Bad peripherals all around. If AEW does it, and this was talk, some people loved it. Like, yeah, shots fired. It's a war. You don't want a war against WWE. You just want to exist on your own. Just do your own thing.
Do your own thing and allow nobody else to talk about you.
Screw WWE. Forget them. Just do your own.
Same with WWE. Screw AEW.
Just do your own thing. And with WWE, the only thing that anybody could possibly think about it is that they're shook, and that's what the internet wants to think, that WWE is shook by AEW. They're not, but they came off that way because they mentioned them. There's no reason.
There was no reason for it.
It's just bad peripherals. And then he said that. So that's my take on that. I don't want to harp on it too much.
No.
But Sami Zayn then said that he can win the Universal title whenever he wants. So that brought out Seth Rollins, which then led to an impromptu main event where the first half was kind of boring, the last half was kind of good, and then Seth Rollins pinned him after 2 stomps. Hurt his knee, but they never even teased that Brock Lesnar would come back out and cash in on him, so that's that.
I don't really have much to say about the main event, honestly.
It just was there.
It just was there, and
that's weird to say that Seth Rollins and a Sami Zayn match was just there.
Yeah.
But it was.
It was.
Nothing to it.
It was. Maybe because of the progression of it, because you had such a bad segment before it, but I don't even think it was that. I think it was just like a kind of at this point you just wanted the show to end because you were dealing with this bad segment, and there was really, honestly, in my opinion, there was really nothing coming back from that at that point because it was just that bad.
Yeah.
And it would have taken a lot for me to be like really engaged into the main event. I didn't care for it. It was like whatever. And then we kind of remember you and I looked at the clock and we're like, oh, it's over. Like we just were like, oh, it's, even though like we were just like, oh
yeah, like oh, that's the end of the show. Okay, well, I guess we better
moving on.
We better get set up for
Absolutely.
Our podcast here.
That was exactly our. It was just we didn't even talk about it after. We didn't even talk about the main event at all.
Right.
So.
Right, and
I don't know.
Some people are thinking that that the fan questions were unscripted. No, they were scripted. Believe me.
They would never ever allow that.
Not doing that. No, certainly not.
WWE would never. Okay, wait a minute. And I'm not. This is not against anybody who's listening or who's watching us. WWE doesn't even allow their performers, their wrestlers, their entertainers to really go off script. So we really think, and they don't like the fans. And they don't like the fans. So you really think they're going to let the fans have any opportunity to because a real fan would never ask those questions.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yep. So, yeah.
There's no way.
Is what it is. And Randy Torcola is mentioning how WWF used to reference the Billionaire Ted skits in 1996, which I'm actually in the middle of watching right now. In fact, I just got to WrestleMania 12, and the pre-show was the Billionaire Ted match.
I do remember that, yeah,
with the Huckster and the Nacho Man fighting.
Yes.
That made WWF, because they were behind, look extraordinarily Bush League, and then WCW giving away the results made them look like they were basically keeping WWF afloat by giving the results.
Right.
Maybe somebody wants to go watch that match. Look how badly it backfired when the Mick Foley thing happened.
Right.
It's like, can we learn from history here? Like, it always comes off as desperate. And here, like AEW, like mentioning AEW, you're basically giving credence and creating your own competition now. Like you're giving them everything they wanted. You just gave them free publicity for somebody to type in what is AEW in Google to 2 million people that were watching the show tonight. At least 2 million people. I'm sure they'll average about 2.3, 2.4 here. Maybe a little less for a holiday, but they just gave them free advertisement.
They did, and not even just in terms of the product, but in because there's been a lot of other like celebrities who have been talking about AEW. Those names are going to come up,
right?
You know what I mean? Because what kind of like the pros to WWE in their sense, and this relates. So I promise I have a point here, but when you mention their name. Because when you look at WWE and you look at all the charity events that they do and all the, Make-A-Wish and all that, AEW is slowly starting to actually even go into that outlet of it. Because with their inclusivity, with the sensory issues that people are having, did you post a story about it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so just real quick. So they have like they did with Culture City. They partnered up, AEW partnered with Culture City. And they have it's where Culture City tries to make things sensory friendly for people with autism or other sensory disorders. So they have sensory bags, they have sensory rooms, so people can attend wrestling events with their children with special needs.
Yeah.
So you're just opening up a whole can of worms of not even that's one of the, honestly, when you type up AEW, that's one of the things that pops up. So when you're mentioning them, now you're looking at oh, wait a minute. I don't know if WWE does that. That's actually a really good point. If I want to take my kid to a wrestling event who has special needs, that may be where I want to go.
Yep.
So you're just opening up this whole, not even with the wrestling itself, but a whole bunch of other stuff that they're trying to do now to make their product,
Yeah. Yep. And then they also got free publicity from AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who mentioned that she saw a clip of Cody Rhodes saying about how being in an interracial marriage, how he said that he doesn't see color, and then Brandy says, oh, well, then you don't see my experience, and how that opened him up to wanting to make a very diverse roster. They got free publicity from that as well, which was pretty cool. That was really neat.
So you just opened up a whole bunch of news lines.
Yep.
When you mention their name. You don't want people to even know what AEW is when you're watching WWE.
Exactly. So that's that. That's what I think about that. What did everybody think of the show? Give us a look in the chat room, then I'm going to tell you all about my shoulder here.
Oh, yes.
Twitter says 88% thumbs down. No good whatsoever from them. They did not enjoy. What did everybody else think? James Lorenzo says AOC to AEW confirmed. Quentin gave it a negative 100 out of 100. Oh boy.
Oh, Quentin.
Oh boy. All right, so let me tell you all about my shoulder real quick. I kind of mentioned it on Wrestleview Live that me and Victoria did reviewing the AEW show. Neffy says it's bad. Jason F. gets thumbs down. Okay, so scary situation for me. Really, really just terrifying. I've been having a shoulder ache all week, and it like right under my shoulder blade, like right there, and it definitely, I was like, just shoulder pain, must just jam my shoulder, whatever.
Right.
And it was on the post Raw show. It was definitely hurting. It kept getting progressively worse. I started on Tuesday. I was only able to lift my arm just about there without getting into like crazy amounts of pain. Wednesday, I took a couple of Advil and it seemed to start to get better. And then halfway through Wednesday, I lost the ability to really like pick up my arm above really like anything. And I was like, man, I must have like a really bad muscle cramp or something like that. I tried to sleep it off. I couldn't find a comfortable position to sleep in at all. If I tried to roll over, gravity was pulling my shoulder down. It got to the point where I couldn't lift my hand anymore. And that was scary. I couldn't sleep. I just woke up and I just said, I got to call out of work here. I have to figure this out. I wound up going to an urgent care, and they said, this looks really bad. Like I was in so much pain that it was like triggering every time. If I would move my hand, even if I tried to pick up my hand to move it somewhere else, it would send off a signal. Like the pain was so bad that it would just make me want to like throw up. It was that painful. And they said, well, this looks bad. We want to help you, but our tech isn't going to be in to take an X-ray or MRI or whatever. You might have a blood clot in your arm. You have to go to the emergency room. So I was like, okay, blood clot in my arm. That sounds bad. So I had to call an Uber to go to the emergency room. I wasn't going to call an ambulance or anything like that. And Victoria then came from work to come with me. And they did an X-ray. Apparently, I have a pebble-sized calcium deposit in my shoulder that was like calcification that just broke off and is like lodged in my muscle and pressing on my nerve to the point where my arm just went completely dead. And that was really scary. So I had to call an orthopedic, and they got me in that day because they could hear how awful, like how much pain I was in. And that which was really super nice of them. I went there. I got a cortisone shot in my shoulder. Immediately, I felt relief, and then the guy lays me down on the table. He's like, okay, you got to start moving right now because you're going to start losing muscle. Like this is really bad. You could definitely freeze up. This is bad. So he takes my arm that hadn't moved in 2 days and lifted it above my head, and immediately, like, it was the worst. I've broken both my wrists at the same time. That was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life, and it was just absolutely, it was scary. And so I have to go to physical therapy 3 times a week for the next month. Surgery to remove this is not off the table, so I might have to have surgery at some point over the summer.
He has to do the electrode therapy.
I'm doing I'm going to put electrodes on my shoulder immediately after this show is over. I'm going to electrocute myself and then ice myself, and then I can go to bed. But I have to do all these. I have to do all these. I have to go PT. Honestly, I'm really afraid of getting put under for surgery, but like the pain was so bad, I was like, I would have cut it out myself, no anesthesia at all. That's how painful it was.
And like Mike said before, surgery is not off the table. You have to see how this month goes with the cortisone injection and with the physical therapy and with the electrode therapy. But because the doctor wasn't like, oh no, like this is gonna heal up, no, not a problem. Like now he was like, it's not off the table. So we're going to reevaluate in about a month and see where Mike is and if he has to have surgery or not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I want to get this taken care of before the baby comes. So we'll have to look at this, at the end of June once school's over, and we'll get there. I appreciate everybody's kind thoughts in the chat room. But
Aw.
I just, everybody's very nice.
Everyone, I love Wrestleview.
I love our fan base here. I love all the people in the chat room, and we have to thank everybody for taking time out of their Memorial Day to spend some time with us. Grash, Power to the Smarks, Randy M, Jason F, James Lacrenza, Nafis Sadat. Yes, I do want to keep my arm, Jason. I do. Graham. Of course I want to keep my arm. Of course. Ashley, Quentin, Billy, everybody in the room. Yeah, we had a lively crowd tonight. Yes, and as Quentin Walter says, the real crown jewel, Baby Tedesco. I agree. And James, 12:38 a.m., no place I would rather be. I appreciate that.
Oh, I love everybody.
People are good. Well, we're going to put a bow on this and just start getting ready to go to bed here.
You have to get electrodes.
I have to do my electrodes. I have to
and
start electrocuting
the baby's
myself.
Gotta sleep.
And the baby's got to sleep. But we appreciate everybody tuning in with us tonight. Make sure you come back on Wednesday at 8 o'clock for Wrestleview Weekly with Mr. Doug Lackey.
My favorite milk carton segment.
Oh, yeah. And join us here on Wrestleview on Saturday, where I will be providing live coverage of the NXT TakeOver 25 show from Connecticut. Be on the lookout. Maybe there will be a post-show after that. We have not 100% confirmed that
Yeah,
yet,
we have an event that day, so we're trying to...
Yeah. Yes, so that's... Oh, that's right. Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe I won't be providing it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, yeah. So just be on the lookout for that stuff. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I'm going to go Shockmaster myself. But, I'll let you know how I'm feeling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you. If anybody in this chat room has served, or if anybody's listening to us on our podcast or watching the YouTube replay,
we appreciate you.
If you have served in the armed forces, we appreciate you. We salute you, and we thank you for your sacrifice. I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Have a good week.
Have a good week.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.